Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha, or you can call me Sam. Just don't call me Sammy. And I'm going to share with you, Grayson. I'm here with my daughter, Grayson, today, and we're going to share 3 things that you need to know. I like to kick off every episode here with 3 things you need to know, just keep you in the know with all the things. Gracie, would you like to share what is one thing that the people need to know?
Eat healthy food.
Eat healthy food. That is such a great, good thing for people to know. It's important that you eat healthy food, isn't it? What is your favorite healthy food, Grayson?
Strawberries.
Ooh, we have been on a big strawberry kick here. Okay. What is your favorite vegetable?
Carrot.
I knew you were going to say that. Carrots, you heard it here. Strawberries and carrots. Healthy food is important. It fills our body with nutrients, it helps us grow strong, all of the things. All right. Item number 2, Gracie. What is the second thing that the people need to know? If you could tell them anything in the whole world without. Oh, whoa. Okay, I need to catch that on the microphone. What was that? That was brilliant. All right, here we go.
Share your feelings with other people to make it go away.
Wow, you are wise beyond your years. So she said, share your feelings with other people because that will help make it go away. And we have this book called Ruby Finds a Worry. And it talks about how when we have these worries and these anxieties and these fears, if we don't talk about them, they continue to grow and they get bigger and kind of overwhelming. But when we share what it is we're worried about, what makes us anxious, what we're afraid of, it tends to make that anxiety and that fear less intense. It starts to go away. Is that the book you're referring to?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that's so great. God, you're such a smart little girl. Okay. Number 3, if you could tell them anything, last final 3, what is the third thing the people need to know?
Be nice to people if that's how you want to be treated.
She's like, yes. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Be nice to people. Treat others how you wish to be treated. Such a simple way to live, folks. Such a simple way to live. Gracie, I think those are really, really great. Thank you so much for coming on. Right now, can you tell us, just as like one more fun fact about you, what's your favorite song right now?
What heartbreak feels like.
What heartbreaks feel like? That's actually not. Is that what the name of the song is?
Call it Pretty Little Liar.
Oh, that's right. All right, folks. That's my daughter, Gracie. 3 things you need to know. And What Heartbreak Feels Like is the number 1 on her top charts for music. You can check it out. So thank you so much, Gracie, for being on here today. We have now fast forwarded to the next day. I got some new podcast equipment, a new microphone, using new podcast recording software because, we're going for that 1% better every single day. And I'm working on the sound and the quality and all the things. But I got a microphone and I was testing out some new software. And I was hanging out with my daughter, Grayson, last night. And I said, hey, why don't you pretend you're on this podcast with me? And I'll ask you some questions and you answer them. I just have to share that her answers were 100% authentic. We did not rehearse. We did not practice. She did not know that I was going to ask questions like that or that I was going to ask her to share things that people need to know. And I just had this moment. I was just playing around. I had no intention of sharing our recording, but I had such a proud mom moment after her answers last night that I was like, I got to use these. I think it's tough. I'm a working mom. I work for a cycle bar, mostly full time, just about a lot going on. And Grayson's at home with me during the summer. We have some help, mommy's helper. I call her a neighbor friend down the road. And sometimes she spends time with my parents or my in-laws, but we spend a lot of time together. And I always wonder as a mom if I'm doing the right things, if I'm teaching my daughter enough, if I'm showing up for her physically, mentally, in the best way possible. And I was just so proud of her answers last night. And I think kids pick up on more than we think. And I was just really touched by what she shared. And I hope that you too enjoyed it. And Grayson gave you some great things to know, to live by. So I wanted to pick up the story from if you quit when you're told no. I got a lot of really great messages from those of you who listen, and I really, really appreciate the support and the feedback. And I am so glad that so many of you really connected with that story. And I wanted to continue really what happened after that big promotion that I had worked so hard to achieve, because I think we have an idea in our mind of what it's going to be like once we get that promotion. And then mentally, I kind of spiraled, which is interesting. Interesting or not, I have generalized anxiety disorder. So anything mental is not very surprising for me. It's a struggle. We deal with it. We handle our business. Nothing to be ashamed of with that. So if you weren't able to listen to the episode, if you quit when you're told no, I would recommend it. Maybe I'm biased. I highly recommend it. I think that you may be able to take something from it. But you don't have to listen to that episode to take something from this as well. So once I received that promotion to the master instructor title, something that I had worked very hard for, something that I had really set a very lofty goal to achieve and then finally achieved it, was a very stimulating day, right? I mean, I was emotional. I got the news. I got a phone call from Tevia and KMax, our vice president of experience and director of training. They FaceTimed me right before one of my cycle bar classes to let me know that I had received that promotion. It was very special and emotional. And then I taught class through tears, and it was so dramatic and it was amazing. And then all the great things. And by the time I got home, it was just kind of like stimulation overload between text messages and phone calls and social media. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. It's wonderful. But it doesn't take a lot for me to feel overwhelmed and overstimulated in certain situations. And I remember sitting on the floor in my bedroom. My phone was plugged into the wall because it was about to die. And I was still trying to kind of respond to some messages and things like that. And I had to just put the phone down for a second. Like I felt like I was kind of catching my breath. And I honestly had this moment where I was like, I might have a full blown panic attack. And I have a history of panic attacks. So that's not unusual. But I don't think I had ever been triggered for a panic attack from something good or great. So this was a new sensation and experience for me. But again, I had set such a lofty goal. I had put so much time and energy to try to achieve it. And then I did. And it was such an amazing thing. It was like the culmination of, the last couple of years of hard work. And so it was just it was a very stressful, overwhelming day. So then I let myself really for the next couple weeks chill. Like, you'd met the goal, sit with that. Cause I'm the kind of person too, it's like once I achieve the goal, I'm ready to set the next one. Like, what's the next step? I'm ready. Let's start working toward being a senior master instructor, right? Like, but I tried to say, no, you're good. Like, you're good, right? Just soak it in for a bit, chill out. And I had to do that. But really, what I want to talk about and share that I really struggled with when I first stepped into this new role was imposter syndrome. I had never experienced imposter syndrome in a way that I experienced it when I first received that promotion for probably a solid year, at least. I mean, it took me a long time to really feel with all my heart and being that I was good enough to deserve that title. Okay. And I think I should distinguish. I knew I worked hard, but I really, it took me a long time to feel like I measured up to the rest of the talent on the team because our education team's so phenomenal. They're so good. Our master instructors, senior master instructors, we got master trainers now. Like these people are rock stars on the bike. And so it took me a long time to feel like I was a rock star too. Okay. Now I'm saying, oh, I'm a rock star. I don't know. I feel good about what I deliver when you come to my cycle bar class. But once I got this promotion, I remember being added into the group chat. We did like a text message group chat with the education team. And I felt like I was in a group chat with celebrities because that's how I viewed these people. that were now my teammates. It sounds silly. If you're in Cycle Bar, it's not silly. You know that. That is often how some of, the education team is viewed. And so I was super intimidated. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to sound silly in the group chat or sound like I didn't know what I was talking about. So I was like really quiet and reserved, which I think is fine too. I think at any time you step into a new role, there's no harm in observing, learning, continuing to learn, figuring out the process flow. I think is a good thing. So I was just kind of trying to do all that. But I went to a camp cycle bar about 2 months after I had been promoted, and there were 6 senior master instructors there. And I was really struggling mentally at that camp. And it should have been a celebration. It should have been excitement. It should have been fun. And I just was in a bad headspace. I don't even know how to describe it, but I just felt like I didn't belong. And what I didn't realize then was that I was having a serious case of imposter syndrome. I had never really experienced that in my life. I'd also never set such a lofty goal for myself. And so I wanted to look up, what is imposter syndrome? I just Googled it. That's how I learn everything. Imposter syndrome, according to Google, is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Oh, I don't know. That got to me a little bit reading that. Yeah, because I think that there's truth to that. I remember feeling that. I remember I had a lot of conversations with one of my teammates about feeling like my ride would never measure up. So, we teach classes and I always feel like I delivered a great class, sure, for my area, for Dayton, Ohio, a stellar class. But when I was put on the same playing field as some of these other master instructors, it took me about a year and a half to really believe that I could offer the same experience that they were offering, that they had given me, for the last couple of years. I just didn't believe it. And I think that's common with imposter syndrome. And when we set such lofty goals for ourselves and we hit those lofty goals. And I was trying to figure out, like, why do we get that? I know the work that I did. I know what I'm capable of. I knew what my classes were doing. My classes were waitlisted all the time. I knew how much time and effort. So why did I feel so insecure with this title? So I had to kind of look it up because I'm like, well, I don't know. Why did I doubt myself so much? It said, Google said something like result of multiple factors, including personality traits such as perfectionism. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a perfectionist. I'm definitely I'm an Enneagram 3, so I want to achieve all the things. And family background. Oh man, did my parents do that to me? I don't know. No, they didn't. But why do we get in? Why do we doubt ourselves? So here's my next question. So I doubted myself, man. I was sitting in this job. I finally got the dream job. Everything I had worked toward, I had hustled. I shared my story of all the hard work that I had to put in. And then I finally got it. I earned it. And then I didn't feel like I deserved it. Why do we feel like we don't deserve what we worked so hard to achieve? You put in the work. You showed up. You deserve the title, the promotion, the award, the victory, the trophy, whatever it is, you deserve it. Let's stop doubting our ability, downplaying our achievements, saying negative things to ourselves. Let's start owning our accomplishments, everything that we've worked toward, and be proud of ourselves. You deserve to be proud of yourself. Being a master instructor means that I get to work with incoming instructors, new instructors all around the country who are just now training to go teach. We do it virtually, sometimes in person. I see it all the time from instructors who were formerly writers, who then become an instructor and struggle with imposter syndrome, feeling like they don't deserve to be on the podium. You went through training. You showed up. You studied the format, you studied the work. You deserve to be there. So whether or not you work for Cycle Bar, if you hold a title, you got it. You earned it. You did it. You deserve it. Own that. Don't be afraid of that. I can't speak for everyone, but I think that for me, a lot of the imposter syndrome that I dealt with was this idea that I was going to fail. I knew what an honor it was to get this title, to earn this title, and I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want them to say, "Oh, we should have promoted someone else," because Sam's class that she delivers is meh. It's okay. It's not the best. I didn't want to train other trainers and be like, yeah, she's okay at giving feedback. Like, I was afraid that I would fail. And I think that it took me some time to be comfortable and know that I was still learning, and that's okay. You're always going to be learning and growing. And just because you get a promotion at work or you take on a new title or something, it doesn't mean you have to all of a sudden be the expert. And you can continue to grow and learn and ask for help and level up. Like, the leveling up never has to stop. I think when we can find comfort in that and recognize and say, hey, I did the hard work that it took to get here. And I'm just going to continue to show up and continue to learn and understand that there's still growth, and it's okay if I fail or I mess something up. It's part of the learning process. It's part of the growth. You don't have to be an expert at everything. You don't have to be perfect at everything. I believe in my case, I really found my confidence and started to kind of leave the imposter syndrome behind when I started to own who I was in that role. And what I mean by that is, because I had spent so much time looking up to my teammates and trying to be like them, that I was forgetting how to be myself, which really was what was unique about me. When I was in my home studio and I was doing my thing, I was being Sam. But then when I felt like I was around these other people that I really just looked up to so much, I felt like I had to try to be them. But the best way to be the best version of myself is just to be me and to not try to be someone else. And it took me a while. It took me a long while to lean into my own authentic personality, style, through coaching, through training, to then feel confident and no longer feel an imposter, because finally I wasn't an imposter. I was myself, and that was the best version to be. you know so and not being ashamed. In hindsight, right? Like, it was my experience. It was who I was as an individual that got me there. So I don't know why at that time I felt like I had to be someone else, or I had to recreate someone else's cycle bar ride experience, when all along I had to just lean into who I was, which was perfect. I'm not calling myself perfect, but I'm saying, if you feel like you need to be someone else, or you're living up to someone else, or you feel like you as you are here today is not good enough, you're an imposter in the role that you're in, or the achievement that you received, I'm telling you that it was you who did that. Who you are, with your personality and your strengths and your weaknesses, that make who you are today just absolutely fine and perfect and exactly where you need to be. So, once I figured that out, which I said it took me a long time. I mean, it took me year and a half more, maybe. I don't know. It took me a long time. Then I was in it. Then I felt like I belonged. Then I was proud of who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I'm always proud of, myself and all the things. But, we can't always measure ourselves to other people. We can not always. We should never do that. Don't measure yourself to someone else. It's you versus you. It's always about just trying to, be the best version of you. You're the one who achieved this. You're the one who got you here. It was you. It wasn't anybody else. So own that. Be proud of that. So, imposter syndrome, man, for me, I'm just the kind of person, I'm in my head 24/7. I don't know if that's you, but I'm always talking to myself. always doubting but believing at the same time. How can both concepts live in your head? I have no idea, but they're there. So, imposter syndrome's real, but continue to be proud of yourself. You deserve it. You deserve the title. You showed up. You did the hard work. Don't underestimate that ever. You can continue to learn and grow and get better every single day. That's all I got for now. Hopefully, you enjoyed a little bit of this, little bit of that, little bit of Gracie girl there at the beginning. I hope you have a great day. You deserve it.